Yeah. So we have a business called NotaryPin. We are a mobile notary scheduling service, and also we do apostille services. And so a lot of people have never heard of apostilles. Everybody knows what a notary is. But it's interesting how we kind of fell into it because it's very niche. But it's really useful for digital nomads because you need those documents to do anything internationally. So essentially the apostille is just an international certification so that you can use a US document and it get accepted in another country like Colombia. And to live here, to do business here, purchase real estate, usually you'll need to apostille something. And kind of the background, so we've connected this way. I started out in the real estate investor space. I actually studied kinesiology and was planning, so I was planning to go into medicine, and I was in the whole, medical path. I shadowed surgeons. I worked as a clinical research coordinator doing studies on knees. And when I graduated my undergrad when I was 28. So it took me so long to finish school. I was I was on that 10-year path.
Okay.
By the time I graduated, I was getting ready to submit all my applications to grad schools. I literally just had to click submit and pay the fees. And my brother was just talking to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to quit my job and start a real estate investing business." And in my mind, I'd always been like, I don't know if I want to do this forever, the rest of my life. And so when he told me that, I said, "Do you need help? Can I join you?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can help me out." So I actually did the digital marketing for him. So I did the SEO, website, and Facebook and Google ads. And so that's where I really learned that marketing skill set and started in that path of entrepreneurship and business. And I learned so much in that first year, 2 years. And I was like, man, why did I even go to school?
Right.
Yeah. But when, my brother, the agreement we had, he was paying me $1,000 a month, and I was living in San Diego. And I did that for like 2.5, almost 3 years.
Really?
And my credit card bills just racked up because you really can't live on $1,000 a month, especially in San Diego. After about 2-3 years, I was like, hey, you know what? We're good. We're doing well. We picked up 13 properties, and we mainly were doing it for capturing a portfolio.
Okay.
But we were using wholesaling tactics to get those leads, obviously. We probably wholesaled maybe 3 properties in that whole time. But with using the BRRRR method, a lot of it cash was tied up in the properties until we could cash out refinance, right? Anyways, we weren't really making money, and I was just like, hey, I need to actually start making some money. And in that time, I learned about notaries because my brother, when he would do a refinance, a notary would come out with all the documents, sit with him for 45 minutes, and you can see a line item on the documents, and it says $250, $200 for the notary. And I was like, wow. They get paid a lot for 45 minutes. If I can do 5 appointments in a day, I could do $1,000 in a day. And I started doing that notary stuff on my own and created my own mobile notary business in San Diego. Used my SEO skills, and I was just focusing on free lead generation first. So I did Google business page, just generating leads in that local space. And that grew really quickly to where I started getting too much volume where I couldn't service it myself, because as a notary, you have to be there in person, right?
Yeah.
And so then I had to start outsourcing the work to other notaries, and that's what expanded our business into a scheduling service. And then that scheduling service went from San Diego out to all of California, then out to the nation. And as I was doing that, a lot of people in the notary space focus on real estate transactions, loans, purchases. But since I was doing the Google business page, I was getting a lot of leads from random things, miscellaneous. You could notarize anything, and it's sometimes really weird. And you also often
What's the weirdest notary you've got?
Dude, so I had a lady who called me, and she had to notarize like a statement because she saw some crime, and she had to notarize a statement of the events to submit to the courts, right? And it was just a really weird situation. We notarized in the back of her car. She didn't have an ID. I was like, this is so weird. There's been times where people are nearing end of life. They're about to die. And, you have a family member who's trying to get them to sign this document. And with the reason the notary stuff is actually, it's really important is it prevents fraud, right? And so sometimes you have people who take advantage of elderly, you have elderly abuse and they try to, they have a house. It's like, hey, grandma, sign this over to me. And so we really have to pay attention to when weird things like that are happening.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I get people who are demented. You can tell they're not fully there. And the family members being pushy to try to get them to sign this thing. And I'm like, I can't sign this. This is weird.
Yeah.
But so the reason I noticed we were getting a lot of like random ones like that. And then there were times where I would get asked, hey, do you do apostilles? And I was like, what is an apostille? What the heck is that? So I had to look it up. I started researching it. And I'd done it a couple times from that point. But what really brought it into our business is we were 9 months in to NotaryPin, the scheduling service.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a business partner relationship with a software company that was similar to Square. It was called Gigster.
Okay.
So they were part of the gig economy and they focused on barbers and things like that. But I'd set up a referral agreement where they paid us $100 for every notary that we'd signed up. And at that time, we were doing about 100 signings a month. So we were signing up 100 new notaries, and we focused on getting new notaries to use so we could get new signups. So we were doing 10K a month just in referral. And then that company ended up shutting down. So I lost 10K. And at that time, I was pretty much breaking even. And so now I was in a deficit of 10K. And I was like, I need to find 10K just to break even. And California had just reopened the Secretary of State office to do in-person apostille. Because of the pandemic, they'd closed it down. So I was like, it's open. We can do this in person. That means I can expedite this. Because normally you have to mail it in and it takes 2 to 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. But I can get it done in 48 hours. I can overnight it to somebody, one of my notaries. They'll run it in and then ship it right back to you. And people, of course, pay for convenience and speed. Mm-hmm. So then we went full in on that. In the first month, did 5K in apostille. Then it was 10, then 20. Now at this point, we're doing about, I think this would be, we'll have 90K in the books on apostille for this month. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So it's $1 million business in itself just on that one channel. And we have other revenue channels too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
so
that's quite
the story. That's the story of NotaryPin and how that all came. And we came here to Medellín. But, to talk about how we ended up here.
Yeah.
So Will is my business partner. I met him in San Diego. He was a notary also. In the notary space, it's very much a side hustle kind of business. And so there's a lot of people who are doing it part-time. They don't take it as a serious business. And I would always see Will at networking events with realtors, escrow officers, just putting yourself out there. I would never see anybody else. And so I was thinking, man, he's taking this seriously. He's okay getting out there, where other people are afraid of talking to people. And we just started talking more, and we decided to start a partnership and relationship here. And I'd moved to Mexico to try to reduce our living costs while in that same time was trying to start the apostille.
Yeah.
So I sold all my stuff, got rid of my apartment, moved to Mexico to live on less, to try to continue building and extend the runway as much as possible. And ever since I'd met Will, the first day, all he could talk about was Medellín. Because he'd lived here back in 2015. He'd lived here for 3 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And he was just like, this place is amazing. There's a magic in the air. It's beautiful. The women are beautiful. Like the people are so nice. He's like, I've always wanted to go back, because he had to go back to the United States. Not out of choice. He had to go back. And so he'd been trying to come back for a really long time. Mm. So we spent a year in Puebla, and then our contract ended, and he was like, how about we go to Medellín now? And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So Will had gone out to do kind of like a site visit and network with other attorneys here. And he met you. Mm-hmm. And he told me, and while we were in Puebla, he's like, I met this guy. He's got this cool group. And I went and sweated with other dudes in a sauna.
Yep.
So then when I came out here, you let me come to the event too. And I was like, yeah, this is a solid group. This is a really cool group of people.
Yeah.
And now I'm here with you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. That's an amazing story of how you started from, almost going into another couple years of school
yeah,
to starting a business.
more than a couple of years.
Yeah, well, a few years, you know. And then now you're living like the dream in Medellín, have a notary international. And also what's really cool is that you guys, so you mentioned this at the beginning, but for anyone who is getting a visa here or like buying real estate, I think as well, right?
Yeah.
You have to get an FBI background check.
Correct.
And it has to be apostilled and it has to have like all this stuff. And so there's been people who literally thought they had to fly back to the US, do this themselves, spend a few weeks. But now that you guys are part of the community and, you know, we've sent this out to people and there's people that use you in the group, outside the group, like anyone who's doing this type of thing, you can literally just get it done in like 24 hours, right?
Yeah, depending on the document. So
depending on the document.
There's some certain cases. With the FBI, it's a little different just because it's a federal document. And so we're limited by the government because they're the ones who are really issuing it.
Sure.
So the fastest we can get an FBI report apostilled is 2 weeks.
Okay.
But to get the actual FBI report, we can get that in like really quick, in a week. So, and the way it works is normally you would go back to the States and you'd submit your fingerprints with that scanning machine. And that gets digitally sent to the FBI and you get an FBI report within same day, 24 hours. When you're abroad, you can't digitally submit data into the government from outside of the United States. And so you have to get ink prints, mail it to the FBI, and then sits in their mailbox, and then they have to process it. So that takes 4 to 6 weeks normally. But we figured out a way where we can do the ink prints with you here. We DHL it to our FBI channeler, who converts your ink prints to a digital, and then he submits them digitally to the FBI. So from the time that we actually receive your ink prints, it takes 24 hours. But total time from shipping your prints to the US and getting the FBI report, it's like 4 days maybe to actually get the FBI report. And then we can start the apostille process.
Got it.
So it's multi-steps. And that's the thing about this space is there's so many different types of documents that there's a specific process for each one. And then each state does their own apostille differently. Each country does it differently.
Right.
So it's very situational and dependent on your situation, your needs, what kind of document it is, what it's for. What's cool is because we have this notary space that we started with, we have a network of 100,000 notaries across the nation. And we can leverage the laws between different states. So if one thing doesn't work in one state, we can try and do it in a different state. Okay. And still get it as quick as you need or the document that you need to have notarized or apostilled.
No, it's amazing. So there's so many nuances, but you guys are the experts. And if someone needs that done, like that's literally what you do, which is super convenient for people wanting to move to Medellín, get their visas, buy real estate, like do all this stuff without having to go back, scan their print, you know, and or even just like the time too. If they need it faster, you know, you guys can do that. So
yeah, and we can do this with people all over the world. So we've done this people in Spain, same situation where they had to get the FBI report and they didn't, instead of flying back, we can help them through getting their FBI report from Spain, from Dubai, anywhere in the world. Just as long as it's a US document we're dealing with, we can do it. Even if it's in another language, like let's say you have to sign a power of attorney in Portugal to buy a property, obviously that document's going to be in Portuguese, but we can still have it notarized and apostilled in the United States.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So, and people can find you at notarypin.com or where?
Notarypin.com is our website. You can find my Instagram, Jonathan Tranimal. Yeah. So it's like animal, but my last name is Tran. I'm Vietnamese. So that's kind of an interesting story too. I got that nickname when I used to work as in the hotel industry. And one of the guys, front desk guys, I would walk in, he goes, "Party Tranimal." And so then that kind of stuck, and I took out the party to make it a little more professional, I guess.
So you used to party.
Yeah. Well, I used to DJ actually.
Oh, really?
I DJ'd from when I was 15 years old up to like 25 is when I stopped.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was.
Do you still at all like dabble?
No, I stopped. I lost interest in it. I did it mainly because I really liked music and I liked scratching. So I was a scratch DJ. So I started out in vinyl records before the whole digital stuff. But nowadays I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that stuff. So it's totally different lifestyle.
Past life.
Yeah, past life. And I would say entrepreneurship and business had a huge play with that because, entrepreneurship is the ultimate personal growth journey, and you start to realize these things aren't serving you anymore. right?
No, it's, I mean, 100% true. So you've been in Medellín for how long now?
6 months.
6 months. So tell me about that. Tell me about, I mean, you pretty much came to Medellín and joined the group at the same time. So tell me your experience, like Medellín, someone who hasn't been here wants to come here. What is Medellín like? Why do you like it? Why are you here? Why are you still here? And also, how has your experience been joining the group, the Entrepreneur House? Like, you know, how's that been? What kind of people have you met? Like, you know, just overall, like, how's that? How's this lifestyle changed for you?
It's been really good. And honestly, I wasn't expecting it. When I first come to Medellín, Will was the one who really wanted to come here. And I was like, I just want to go because I want to travel more. Traveling and being location independent has always been my dream. But I'd always thought, I don't know if Medellín is my place because of the negative things about it that you hear about, like, of course, the drug and prostitution and stuff like that. And so I was kind of weary. But when I'd come here, after about a couple months, I was like, man, this is an amazing place. And a lot of it had to do with the people and the group. And you realize that, there's these things that are here that people come for the wrong reasons. But there's lots of people who are here for really good reasons. And the entrepreneur community here is incredible. People who are not entrepreneurs that I've met that are expats, they're amazing. And you start to see that is really what, I guess, draws people here. It is the people, including the Colombians. Like, they're so nice and kind. And when you meet them on a more personal level, it's like, oh man, these are like just beautiful people. Amazing, right? Joining the group, it's been really awesome for us in our business. You know, business-wise, of course, there's a lot of high-level people in the group, and they all have different experiences that add a lot of value. Since joining the group, our business revenue has increased by 25%.
Really?
Yeah. So we were doing 100,000 when we first joined, and now we're at 125.
That's awesome.
And we're going to, I already see us doing 150 next month.
I mean, do you think that has a impact of joining the group directly, or is that just coincidental?
No, I think 100% it was joining the group. One, it was, I was in a place where I was still operating in my business, and I wasn't stepping into the CEO role. And I was in this crucial transitionary point, and just talking to so many people, and they were all like, you got to get out of there. You got to stop doing these things. And it's, things you obviously already know, but getting the actual, I'm like, okay, 3 people have told me now, I think I got to do this now. Right. And having those resources and people to ask questions and draw on has been so helpful. I met our sales coach through your group. And he's helped out a ton. He's still with us. And just really the biggest feedback I got from your group was data, and it's just making data-driven decisions. And in this last 6 months, we've just been focused on capturing our data, organizing it in the right way. And now we are finally at the point where we actually are seeing trends, seeing what's happening, and we are actually making decisions that are able to help us to grow. And this is why I'm so confident in the next month, we're going to do 150. We're going to do an extra 25,000 because we've been making these moves based on data, and it's so much more clear versus before we were doing it on intuition, right? We're like, pretty sure this is going to be good. They're like, trust me, this is going to be good. Right. Every entrepreneur has that, and you totally need that when you start out, because that's what moves you. But then at a certain point, you have to start making decisions based on information while still having that intuition and innovation growth.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
I didn't know that you guys have had 25% growth. And, you correlate that to, being part of the group, being around, having these conversations with all the different, operators and business guys in the group. So congratulations.
Thank you, man. Yeah, the group is incredible. And it's not even just on the business side. It's on a personal level too. We have conversations about life, dating. I have a girlfriend now here, and just talking to people about what that's like, because there's a difference in culture too. But in terms of life quality and lifestyle, it's something I didn't imagine. I didn't imagine my life to be this way. Yeah. And it's been incredible.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great, And now it's like,
complain.
I feel like I want to stay here forever now. And
I know.
When I first came here, that was not what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So,
well, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's so cool, man. Yeah. So for anyone watching this who is, they're not in the group, they may be thinking about joining the group. What would you say to them if they're watching this and thinking of joining?
I mean, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't join. I think you have great filters, obviously. And so like I'm speaking to somebody who's going to meet those filters, but the level of this group, it ranges so much. Mm-hmm. But I think what really is amazing about it is it connects all of us on a similar thing, is that we've all taken that big leap to go to another country and live somewhere else, the unknowns, right? And we can all connect in this way. We have this connection through entrepreneurship. So we all understand each other in this like deep way, right? Mm-hmm. That you just don't get in other groups, and having to filter out who you're talking to and trying to see if like, is this somebody valuable to speak with? Is this a waste of my time? I think the amazing part of this group is being able to know that whoever you talk to, it's going to be someone you're going to connect with in some way. It's going to provide you some value, whether it's through business, through personal life, and just or friendship.
And you already shared your Instagram. Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so Jonathan Tranimal is the easiest way on Instagram. I am on Facebook at jtranimal. I don't really use Facebook much, but Instagram is going to be the best way.
Okay. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. It's awesome.
Amazing.